And what does he say on the subject in explaining the Quran? Asma radiallahu ta'ala anha came into the home while the Prophet ﷺ was in the home, and she was wearing clothing which was transparent. And he turned his face away and he said, Asma, when a girl reaches the age of puberty, nothing must be seen of her body except this. And he pointed to the face, and this, and he pointed to the hands. This statement of the Prophet ﷺ is explanatory of the Quranic guidance. Crystal clear, without any room for any ambiguity. The problem would be for those who have an insufficient knowledge of usul al-tafsir, and that is the principles regulating the explanation of the Quran. In usul al-tafsir, the first principle is that the Quran explains itself. The second is that the Prophet ﷺ explains the Quran, and then there are others after that. During the Khilafat of Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I think the women during one period were not allowed to make the tawaf around the Kaaba. Could you please shed some light on the reason why? I have no knowledge of this subject at all. Any other questions? Yes.
I'm asking this question so that we all can benefit, but especially the women, regarding marriage. Is it permissible, or should the man ask permission from his wife to marry another woman?
Well, I just made it difficult for you all. I just made it difficult for you all. I made a promise to my wife, and I have absolutely no regrets of having made that promise. I did it freely. She never asked me to make the promise. No. And there was no obligation on my part to make the promise. It was done freely. I made a promise to her that I'll never take another wife without her permission. And I did that because of something that happened in which I felt so proud, so proud, so proud of the way in which she had acted. But you don't have to make that promise. And your wife should not ask it of you to make that promise. If you want to make the promise, it's for you. You're free to do that. But when you give your word, you must keep your word. No, there is no obligation on a man to seek permission from anyone, even from Amirul Mu'mineen, from anyone, from any government, from any law, if he wants to take another wife. He must, however, ensure that the marriage is contracted in public, not in private, so that the world would know, the community would know, this is my wife. Men like the sunlight, rats like the dark. Number two, that if he wants to take a second or a third or a fourth wife, he must have the means to maintain them. Number three, that when he takes a second or a third or a fourth wife, he must strive to the best of his ability to establish equity in his relations with his wives. Do not give to one wife and don't give to the other. Once he does that, he is on the right path. If he contracts his marriage in private and his wife does not know about it, then that is something shameful, very shameful. So she will be informed about it, but she does not, you do not need to seek her consent. Any other questions? Yes?
We know that in the past, the women took part in battles. For example, bin Khawla, in bin Khawla, killed many men fighting.
Yes.
And that in the time of Omar, he appointed a woman as market inspector.
That he appointed a woman as?
Market inspector.
Market inspector.
Yes, that's in the book of Hamidullah.
I'm not aware of this. Go ahead.
Anyway, so women have worked in the time even of the al-Kawthar and have fought in the military. They have fulfilled the role of men. And we know that in Sha'ban, the women are fighting the Russians. So would that go against your view on women?
Those who believe that I am wrong, and there is evidence to the contrary, and that in Islam, Allah has not appointed for men a functional role different from women. If this is your opinion, you don't have to follow what I've said. I think I have spoken with clarity, and I have used verses of the Quran to establish my position very clearly. So an incident in history here or an incident in history here cannot take the Quran and turn it upside down. No. الرجال قوامون على النساء is as crystal clear as the daylight. An incident here or an incident there, some of which I never even heard about, cannot take the Quran and turn it upside down. No. The functional difference of men and women is established as clearly as the daylight in the Quran. And it is Dajjal's mission when he says that women will be dressed like men, to have women seeking to assume the functional role of men. A woman can be a businesswoman. I think I mentioned it. And a man could be working for her as her employee. I think I mentioned that. She would be his boss. And I mentioned the name of one such woman who had an employee working for her. But that does not reverse the functional role of the male in society. Now, she is still subject to the authority of her husband. Any other question?
Announcement.
Bismillah.
Jamaat Muslimin, there is a car blocking Honda 1471. There's a Honda with the others from inshallah.
Oh. Okay. The question pertains to the punishment in Islam for zina. What is the punishment in Islam for zina? That is a subject which is a little bit removed from our topic for tonight, which is the woman of Islam in the house of Allah. So let us try to first address this subject. Yes.
Regarding the hadith which states that when women rule, men should go underground. Can you elaborate?
There is one hadith about the rule of a woman. لا يفلح قوما وأمرته امرأة ولو أمرته امرأة. That society would not prosper in which there is the rule of a woman. I have written an essay on this subject. Perhaps it is outside. There's a book entitled Signs of the Last Day in the Modern Age. And in that book, this subject is dealt with. Can Muslims choose